Alright ladies, have you ever found yourself giving a man more and more, hoping that eventually he will start appreciating you? You become more understanding and more patient, and you keep explaining away the very things that your intuition keeps trying to warn you about. And before you know it, you're sitting there wondering, how did I end up giving so much to someone who barely values me? Because here's what most women were never taught. A man doesn't start valuing you because of everything that you're willing to give him. He starts valuing you when he realizes that crossing your boundaries has consequences. And one of those consequences is losing access to you. So the real question is not how do I make a man value me? The better question is what am I doing that is teaching him not to? Because every relationship teaches another person how to treat us, not through what we say, but through what we constantly allow. My name is Ismael Gomez, and in this video, I'm going to show you 5 ways to respond when a man doesn't value you. Not so you can manipulate him into changing, but rather so you can stop abandoning yourself in the hope that one day he will. Okay, so let's begin. Redirect your energy. Letting go and going quiet are not the same thing. You can go a full week without texting him and still spend the entire afternoon checking your phone to see if he responded. Going silent on purpose is not detachment. If you're staying quiet, but you're secretly waiting to see if it makes him miss you, you didn't let go, you're only using a different tactic. You keep pursuing him, but now you're doing it in a quiet way, okay? And a man can feel the difference. He can feel the difference between a woman who redirects her energy back into her own life versus a woman who's still waiting for him to notice. One makes him feel your absence and the other one doesn't. So let me tell you what actually works, because you can't force yourself to think about a man less. You tried it before and it doesn't work. Real detachment happens when your attention naturally has somewhere else to go. When your life is half empty, every connection with a man feels more important than it really is. But when your life is full, you finally get to see him for what he actually contributes to it. So focus on creating more value in your own life first, not more value in his. You excuse his low effort. You know, many times I notice that the excuses a man gives you are not even the real issue. The issue is the excuses you give yourself to justify his lack of effort. You tell yourself that it's not that serious, that you don't want to seem dramatic. And on the surface, those reasons sound mature, even emotionally intelligent. But underneath it, there's something deeper. A quiet fear that if you speak up, you might lose the connection altogether. And the problem with that is that when you accept repeated excuses, even small ones, you train him that effort is optional with you, okay? That being late is fine, that being inconsistent is still going to earn him access to you. And from a male perspective, when there are no consequences, there's no urgency. And when you seem endlessly flexible with your expectations, you stop being taken seriously. And let me give you an example. So just yesterday, a client was showing me a text from a guy that she'd been seeing, and he lives like 30 minutes away from her, and suddenly he sent a text telling her that, hey, I don't know if I can see you this week because I'm really busy with work. And I want to show you what she wrote back. She said, I get it. I'm free next week too. Read that again, okay? He gave her a soft no, and instead of just letting it sit there, she immediately gave him an easier way out. And that is the trap. When a man does the bare minimum, you can't make it easier for him, okay? You gotta stop rewarding the low effort, and then you find out whether he ever wanted to give you more. And you deserve to know that now, not a year from now. Stop explaining your boundaries. One thing I've noticed is that you ladies don't struggle with having boundaries, you struggle with trusting them. So when a man asks, can I come over to your place tonight, or come over to my place, and you already know that you don't want to, but instead of saying, hey, today's not a good day for me, you go on a whole spiel explaining why you can't. Hey, today has been really hectic, I got so much going on with work, I'm sorry that I'm busy, and you give this whole explanation about your boundary. So the first answer was a decision. Today is not a good day for me. But the second one is a defense, okay? You're not communicating your boundary, you were trying to make him agree that you were allowed to have one. And that's what over-explaining really is. It's not communication, it's seeking permission. A woman who trusts her own standards and boundaries doesn't feel the need to build a case every time that she says no. No is a complete sentence. And then you simply watch what he does. Because a respectful man doesn't need a 5-minute explanation. But a man who keeps pushing after you already answered, he's not confused, he's just testing whether your boundary is going to move. The apple and the orange tree. Imagine you have an apple tree and he has an orange tree. So he comes to you with 10 oranges and you give him 10 apples, okay? 1 for 1. It's a fair exchange and both of you enjoy the trade. But after a few months, he comes to you with only 8 oranges and you notice, but you don't say anything. You still give him the 10 apples. But what happens is that month after month, he's going to be bringing less and less oranges until eventually he comes to you empty-handed. And this is how the dynamic shifts, okay? Being taken for granted doesn't happen in some dramatic moment or sudden event. There's no big switch that flips, okay? It's a slow, quiet process where a man gradually stops valuing what you bring to the table. And this is what I really want you to understand, okay? Most men are not sitting there thinking, how can I take this woman for granted? They're simply responding to what the relationship is teaching them. So every time that you keep giving him the 10 apples after he stops bringing the oranges, you're not rewarding love, you're reinforcing low commitment. And whatever you reinforce, you're going to keep getting consistently. Never offering your input. Quite often, I see content that tells women to be easygoing, flexible, and always agreeable, and that's going to make you irreplaceable. But in most men's eyes, I can tell you that actually makes you forgettable. At first, it's going to look like support. Whatever you want, you decide, and you might even tell yourself that this is me letting him lead. But this is not leadership, this is absence. Letting a man lead doesn't mean going silent or suppressing your preferences. It means that you bring your full presence while trusting his direction. But whenever he's going to make a decision or he has an opinion on something and all you do is agree with everything, eventually what he's going to feel is emptiness because there's no contrast, no curiosity, no reflection of who you really are. And without that, there's no polarity, no spark, no real connection. Healthy men don't want a yes woman. They want a woman who can flow with them, but also challenge them, engage with them, and express what she thinks and feels. Because being always agreeable doesn't make you more valuable. What actually does is having a voice that he respects. Alright ladies, so those are the 5 ways that you can respond to a man who's not valuing you. Redirect your energy back into your own life. Stop excusing low effort. Stop over-explaining your boundaries. Make sure that he meets you halfway, and don't be afraid to voice your needs and opinions. Also, I don't know if you noticed, but I've been using more examples and text messages from women that I'm coaching right now. So let me know in the comments if you'd like to see these real life examples. Is that something that you enjoy? Because again, sometimes I feel that I'm just talking to the camera and I don't have a visual reference for you to really relate to. I believe that, seeing those patterns play out in real life from women that I actually coach makes them a lot easier for you to recognize and to change in your own love life. But anyways, thank you for subscribing to my channel, and remember that for your relationships to change, you need to change, okay? Have a beautiful day.